This prompt is also written about Christmas. Have you ever seen your mom kiss Santa? My favorite holiday is Christmas. What I like about Christmas is all of the Christmas trees. Christmas trees are my favorite because they are very beautiful and have lots of light. What I also like about Christmas is the snow. Snow is super fun and you can make all kinds of shapes and have snowball fights, but you will get cold and wear gloves, beanies, and jackets. What I love about Christmas is the Christmas dinner, and my mom makes the best Santa pancakes. After that, we get to open presents. What I also like about Christmas is the presents because it is a surprise and Santa comes to your house and puts the presents under the tree. Santa's elves came to my house. Their names are Buddy and Bella and they are super fun. They make lots of messes. What I love the most is all of the Christmas music and treats. Okay. This one, I think this one had a really fun, really a really good attention grabber. Have you ever seen your mom kiss Santa? So just from the very first sentence, because they started talking about Santa, we're already thinking about Christmas. Because they mentioned Santa, we're not going, is this about Easter? Or is this a Halloween story? Or, oh, this has to be about 4th of July. They talk about Santa, so we already know this is a Santa story. This is about Christmas. Then they tell us my favorite holiday is Christmas. Okay, we go into our first reason. What I like about Christmas is all of the Christmas trees. Christmas trees are my favorite because they are very beautiful and they have lots of light. One thing I thought this person did really well was the words they were choosing. So they didn't call the Christmas trees pretty. They said they were beautiful. They said they have lots of light. I love the way that they describe those Christmas trees. The one thing I would have liked to see is more about the Christmas trees. What makes them beautiful? Or when you say lots of light, what kinds of light? I know that there are some people who like Christmas trees with all the same color light. Like they like all the lights to be blue or purple or red or green or whatever color or gold. Some people like the Christmas trees that have all the different colors. They have the red lights and blue lights and green lights and orange lights. Personally, I like the ones that have the multicolors. I like to see very colorful Christmas trees when all the different color lights are there. When it's all kind of the same color, I think it can look pretty, but I think it looks more plain if it's all just purple or all just blue or all red. I like to see those different colors. So I would have liked to see some more explanation here. I love their words. I would have just liked to have seen more about them. What is beautiful about the Christmas trees? Is it the ornaments or is it the lights? Because they didn't mention the lights specifically. And again, what color lights do you like? Do you like the kind where there's lots of different colors? Do you like the kind that like blink? It's kind of blinking at you? Or do you like the kind that are just on all the time? What I also like about Christmas is the snow. Snow is okay, right here, we should have a period. We have to be careful again. We've seen that with a couple stories. We need to be careful about where we're putting the periods. We always need a period at the end of a sentence. What I also like about Christmas is the snow. The snow is super fun and you can make all kinds of shapes and have snowball fights. Okay, I'm going to stop highlighting there because I want to talk about this part. This was about our favorite holiday. That was our prompt, right? This person takes part of their writing and they tell us, oh, I love the snow. The snow is cold, it's fun, you make shapes, you have snowball fights. And they say, but you're going to get cold. You need to wear beanies and jackets. When you're talking about things that you like, especially on a prompt, you want to just talk about the good things. You don't want to talk about the things that are negative, the things that are bad. So, like in this case, they're talking about the snow. Then they start telling me, but it's cold, so you gotta wear gloves and you gotta wear beanies and you gotta wear jackets. Unless you're telling me I love my jacket because the inside's so warm and fuzzy, or I have this beanie that like lights up and I really like wearing it because I think it looks cool. Or if you tell me I love wearing my gloves because I got them special for me, and there's fur on the inside, and they make my hands feel nice and soft and warm. Don't tell me about the negative part of it. Focus on the fun part of the snow, the snowball fights. Who are you having snowball fights with? When you say that you're making shapes, what kind of shapes are you making? Are you making like snowmen, or are you making like triangles or squares or rectangles in the snow? I don't know, because you said shapes. But don't talk about negative parts. So like if you talk about uh since a lot of us talked about Christmas, if you talked about the lights or the Christmas trees, and you tell me, "Oh, I love Christmas trees," or "I love the lights." Oh, but it takes so long to put the lights up, and I have to stand out there with my dad, and I have to hold all the lights, and I have to keep giving him more and more lights as he goes around the house. So I got to keep walking around the house, and it's boring. I sit out there just staring at my dad in the ladder, handing him more and more lights. Don't tell me that part, because then it doesn't sound like you're having fun anymore. You're telling me, "Oh, I'm so bored standing next to this ladder and handing out the lights." Then it doesn't sound like you're enjoying it anymore. If you told me that you get to wear gloves and you get to wear jackets and beanies, and especially if you tell me I get to wear soft, comfy, warm, fuzzy, furry jackets or beanies or gloves, then it sounds like you enjoy it. But if you say you have to wear, you will get cold, you need to wear these things, it doesn't sound like you're enjoying it anymore. So you need to make sure that you're staying focused on things that are positive. So I don't want to count this part with their snow, because it doesn't seem like a positive thing the way that they're writing it. What I love about Christmas is the Christmas dinner, and my mom makes the best Santa pancakes. This one, they kind of did something a little bit weird, something we haven't seen in the other stories, is they start talking about like the food, and then halfway through the sentence, they start talking about presents, and that leads into their next reason, which is fine, but we don't even get a full sentence about the dinner. And honestly, that part I was kind of sad about, because when they said Santa pancakes, my first question or my first idea was, what's a Santa pancake? Like, is it a red and green pancake? Is it shaped like Santa? Or do you like decorate and put extra stuff like toppings on it to make it look like Santa? What makes a Santa pancake different from a regular pancake? And unfortunately, they never described it to me. They never told me. Well, a Santa pancake is when you take, a red pancake and a green pancake and you put whipped cream so it looks like Santa's beard, or, whatever it might be. Which again, I was kind of sad about, because I really wanted to know more about these Santa pancakes. What are they? What do they look like? And what makes them better than regular pancakes? They talk about presents. What I also like Christmas presents, because it's a surprise. Santa comes to your house and puts the presents under the tree. And again, here they kind of start talking about one thing and then switch to another. Santa's elves came to my house, and their name are Buddy and Bella, and they are super fun and make lots of messes. What I love most is all of the Christmas music and treats. That ending is okay. Kaylee, make sure you put it away. The ending is okay, but it kind of sounds like they're about to start talking about other things instead of ending their story. You want to make sure that your ending sounds like an ending. Your reader should know that's it. There's no more story, there's no more writing. So, this person, they had a lot of reasons to like Christmas, which is great. But look at how little they had to say about every reason. This is why, when we're brainstorming, I tell you all to kind of narrow it down to like 3, maybe 4 reasons. If you have 7 reasons to talk about, that's awesome that you have that many ideas. But when you start to write them on your paper, you're gonna run out of room if you have to talk about 7 different things. You're not going to have the time to explain it or to describe it. The more things you want to talk about, the less space you're going to have for them. the less describing and explaining you're going to be able to do. That's why when we're brainstorming, I told you to kind of narrow it down, cut it down to about 3 or 4 things. That way you have plenty of space to describe and explain, and your reader will really understand you. After reading the story, in your head, you don't have to say anything, type anything in the chat, put up any fingers, but what score do you think this paper should get? 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4? What do you think it would have get, or what would you have given it? You were the one giving out the scores or the grades. What would you give this one? For this paper, I would give it a 2. I think what makes it a 2 is that it stays on topic. It is talking about Christmas the entire time, which is good. But stays on topic. It does give me some examples. Having snowball fights, it tells me about the Santa pancakes, it tells me about the presents, it tells me about the elves. But what keeps it from being a 3 is that even though they had a lot of examples, they had a lot of things that they liked, they didn't do a very good job of explaining those. They kind of moved on too quick. They told me one sentence about them, and then instead of describing them to me some more or explaining what makes them good or anything like that, they kind of just moved on. Okay, next thing. Okay, next thing. Okay, next thing. Don't be in a rush when you're writing. Take your time. Explain. Your reader wants to understand how you feel, so let them. Don't just move on right away. All right. And our last story, also about Christmas. Christmas is my favorite holiday because you get to spend time with your family. You spend time with with your family on Christmas and make the Christmas happy. Okay. This was another person that just didn't finish their writing. So we have the beginning. Christmas is my favorite holiday. Again, we need to watch out about where we're putting the periods. We need to have periods at the end of sentences. Okay? They tell us you get to spend time with your family. When you spend time with they're missing some words there. When you spend time with your family on Christmas, they kind of put it back over here, with your family on Christmas. It makes Christmas happy. I think that's a better word. A lot of times, one word that I honestly don't like to see in writing a whole lot is the word fun. The reason why I don't like to see the word fun a whole lot in writing is because fun is very different from one person to another person. So I'll give you a very good example. Some people love to put together puzzles. Raise your hand for me if you like doing puzzles. Okay. I want you to notice something. Some of our hands went up and some of ours did not. So, doing a puzzle for you might be fun. You like to see the picture kind of slowly come together and get bigger and bigger and bigger and more complete. Some of you, if you put a puzzle down in front of you, you might go, oh, really have to? I gotta put it together? Like a lot of pieces. Some of us really like certain things and some of us don't. So I don't like seeing the word fun in our writing because fun is very different from person to person. And a lot of times when we say, oh yeah, it's fun, we think, well, yeah, they understand what I'm saying. No, they don't. The people that have fun doing puzzles like to figure things out. They like to, again, see the picture start in little pieces and get more and more complete and get bigger and bigger as they put more and more parts. And finally, that last little click and all the pieces are there. They love that. Some people, they just want to see the picture. Show me the painting or show me the picture that it's supposed to be of. I don't want to sit here and find all these little pieces and keep looking back and forth. Some people really like certain things and other people. But this person, what I like that they did is instead of telling me that it makes Christmas fun, they said it makes Christmas happy. I know what it feels like to be happy. So when they tell me, oh yeah, it's fun, well, why is that fun for you? But if they tell me it makes it happy, I know what that feels like. So I can make that connection and go, oh, that's how you feel. That's what makes it happy, is being around your family. Now, again, this person obviously did not get a chance to finish theirs. We did a not a great job of using our time very wisely while we were working on this. But I like that they didn't use the word fun, that they used the word happy instead. This one, in your heads, what would you give this paper? Would you give it a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4? You had to be the one that gave out the grades or the scores. What would you give it? A 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4? This paper, unfortunately, because there's not very much writing, I'd have to give it a 1. It does talk about the topic, but it doesn't even start to give me the examples of, well, how do you spend the time with your family? What do you all do together? Do you watch movies? Do you open presents? Do you decorate the tree? What? Without telling me that, I can't give it anything more than a 1. What I want to do is, I want to hear from you. Now that we've looked at all of the pieces of writing from our class, and everybody's has been on here. And again, I'm not going to tell you whose is whose, because I don't want anyone to get embarrassed about what their writing score was or wasn't. But, I mean, I told you, I've seen a lot of good things in our writing. Who can tell me what's one thing that you thought was really good about anybody's writing on here? Doesn't have to be yours. It could be any piece of writing we've looked at. Something that you thought was pretty cool. Or something that you want to try doing the next time we write. What was a good thing you noticed? And again, it could have been your writing, could have been someone else's. What's a good thing you noticed? And it could be in more than one piece of writing, or it could be one specific piece of writing. Okay, so Brianna says that somebody wrote a lot about family. I absolutely agree. I think some of us did a really, really good job of explaining and describing some of their reasons. Some of their reasons were very, very lengthy. They had lots of explanations and details. Like, I mean, look at some of these. Some of these are very, very long, detailed reasons. I loved that. That's fantastic. And that's not the only story that happened with. We had some others that had very long, detailed, explained reasons. Very good job on as far as those go. Who can tell me, is there something else besides that some of us did a very good job of explaining or describing that we thought was pretty good? Okay, Ezekiel, I think that's a good point. That in our writing, use your senses. You can't always use your senses, but when you can, absolutely put them in there. Some of us, a lot of us talked about Christmas. Some of us mentioned Christmas food. Especially when you can talk about food in your writing, use your senses. What does it smell like? What does it taste like? Is it crunchy or is it soft? Is it cheesy or salty? Or is it sweet or sour? Whatever. That works so well, and especially with food, because everybody, no matter who you are, everybody has to eat. So when you get a chance to talk about food in your writing, and you can tell them that it was crunchy or chewy or cheesy or stretchy, they can connect with that and they're going to understand you a lot more. So when you tell me like the Santa pancakes, the one we just read about, describe them to me. They're big, fluffy pancakes. They're a bright red color. When I smell them cooking in the house, the whole house smells like cinnamon and vanilla. Describe it. Use your senses when you can. And again, you can't always use them. Some of them might be kind of hard. Like, let's say a Christmas tree. You don't really hear a Christmas tree, but you can definitely see it. If it's a fresh tree, you might be able to smell the tree. When we're talking about food, sometimes you can hear that too. When they first make pancakes and they kind of when they hit the pan, tell me about that. Or if you're talking about cookies, tell me about the crunch when you first bite into them. Are they the soft, warm, gooey kind of cookies? Or are they the kind that you take a bite and it cracks and it crunches in your mouth and you hear as you're chewing it? All of that is going to help your reader to understand you. You're right. I love that introduction, that beginning, where it started off with ho, ho, ho. Because just like when we have the different stories that talked about Santa, from the very beginning, there are certain sounds that just make sense with certain holidays. Like if you put ho, 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 everyone knows you're talking about Santa. Everyone knows you're talking about Christmas. If you put something like, I don't know, boo, then they might go, oh, okay, I think this is going to be a Halloween story. Because when, I don't know about you all, when I hear boo, I don't go, oh, it's Christmas time. I think Halloween. The same way that when I hear ho, 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 I don't go, it's 4th of July already? No, it's Christmas time. So there are certain sounds that you can use for different holidays. Some of the holidays might not have a sound you can use, but if you can, again, those senses, use it. The other thing that I really like that I noticed for the most part on our writing is even for those of us that didn't have a whole lot of description, there's not a lot of us that kind of mixed up our reasons and went back and forth. If you look, for the most part, all of the colors kind of stayed together. The yellow stayed with the yellow, the blue stayed with the blue, the green stayed with the green. And again, sometimes we went back and forth a little, but for the most part, all the colors stayed together. That is really, really good. We do the same thing in our day at school. We don't do a little bit of writing and then some math and then back to writing and then now some reading and then some social studies and back to writing and back to math and then social studies again and then writing and then math and then bye. We do all the math together, all the reading together, all the writing together. So that way we don't have to switch back and forth and pay attention to different things. You want to treat your reader the same way. If you're just switching back and forth, talking about this reason and then this reason, but back to my first reason, now the second reason again, your reader's going to get really confused. Why did you like the holiday again? The other thing that happens when you do that is you kind of sound like you didn't do a very good job of planning. Like you talked about something for a little bit and then you went on, but then you forgot, oh yeah, I forgot to put this stuff in. That's the point of that rough draft. If you forgot to put something in, go back and put it where it belongs. Yeah, and for our writings, Alexa, always think about whatever you can use to talk about. Like some of you, like you mentioned about the decoration and that it actually says that in real life, use that. Especially for like the holiday one, think about what you do. Holidays look different for everybody. So you want to think, what do I do? What does my family do that I could talk about? So always try to make sure that you're using stuff that comes from you. You want to make sure that your ideas come from you, because if you're trying to use other people's ideas or other people's memories, it's harder to describe them and to explain them. If you're telling me, oh, my cousin said that one time that this happened to her and that then she went here, I think, and then afterwards she went and she did this other thing, and then I think that was it. No, she did this other thing too. you need to make sure that we're using our own memories, our own ideas. Trying to use memories or ideas from somebody else makes it harder for you to keep things in order in your head, and it's going to make it harder for you to explain them. So definitely use things that come from you. But like I said, overall, I honestly really liked reading all these. We had people with plenty of good description. For the most part, all of our ideas stayed together. And again, some of us didn't finish, which means that just some of us need to do a better job of using our time wisely. A lot of times we're going to take either a lot of time on one day or a little bit of time on many different days to finish our writing. Use that time. And if you ever get to a point where you go, well, I don't know what to talk about next, don't just give up and stop thinking. Keep trying. What else can I say about this? What more can I explain? What more can I describe? That way you end up with the best piece of writing you can get.